right, we'll get started. It is the start, the Missouri Valley Conference race, and definitely the preparation up to this point has tested us. We found a lot out about our football team, and now we're going to find out for real, starting here real soon, just what type of team we have. So we're excited about the opportunities. We're looking forward to the challenge, and I think the non-conference schedule of the Missouri Valley Football Conference really has proved that it is probably the best conference in the country, and it's going to be an interesting next 8-9 weeks. So we'll open up to questions.
You know, after looking at the tape from Saturday, what's the biggest thing you guys took away from the loss?
Well, the thing that I always look for, you know, especially when you play a division up game, was there physical mismatches that we just couldn't handle, and I did see that. So I was disappointed, very disappointed in how we started the game, just the execution part of it, both offensively, defensively. There were elements that we did very well, but we made those critical mistakes you just can't make with offense turning the ball over, defense giving up touchdown passes. You know, those are things that'll get you beat. So you got to play the complete game, and we just didn't give ourselves the chance that we needed in the first half, and again, second half we came out and we're very competitive, but we just can't dig ourselves in that big of a hole.
You know, despite the loss, do you like where you guys are sitting, you know, going into conference play now?
Well, you know, again, I'm not, the loss, and losses should sting, you know, so there's a little getting over that, and like I said, the disappointment part of it. I think we found out something about our team where we have to be all in the same, basically, state of preparedness going into a game where we got to execute at a high level. Otherwise, we'll leave the door open to failure. And you know, that's something that we just have to realize. We got to have our backs up against the wall type mentality every game we go into.
Michael had a bunch of single coverage, he said, against Purdue. What do you think you have to do better to get Malcolm in LA and Tate Willis more involved in the game plan, if that happens again this weekend?
Well, it goes down to making plays too. You know, Michael, he had some single coverage, so therefore he's open, and then you go to him. So that's part of the reason why you do that. Now, if they're double covering him and doing other things, which a lot of teams will do, then he's not going to be available, and those other guys need to step up. When Michael stepped forward, it was at a point in the game too where we were struggling, so we needed somebody to step up and get the blood flowing offensively, and Mike Cole gave us that shot of energy. And you know, then after, you know, especially that first play in the third quarter, you know, things came easier for us offensively. So Inati has to play better. You know, we got to run harder. You know, we got to make the catches. We can't have balls go through our hands that are then intercepted. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do to get everyone playing better.
And just talk about the running game. You know, what do you think you have to do to establish Malcolm and Mikael this weekend?
Well, you just got to execute. You got beat in a couple one-on-one matchups. You know, you just got to get the job done up front, and you get the job done up front, and you're going to have success running the ball.
You know, Western's record it's probably a little deceiving because they played Wisconsin and Northwestern. What jumps out to you about their team after watching their film?
Well, they're a good team. Last year they were a very young team, especially with the new staff in place. Now you see the progression that they've made. Defensively, they're playing some great defense, and I think that's probably the strength of their program right now, for them to do what they did against Wisconsin and Northwestern, especially looked at the Northwestern stats where I think they held them to 283 yards, and offensively they almost added 100 more yards than what Northwestern produced. So this is a team that's definitely a high-level caliber Missouri Valley football team.
You know, What specifically did they, against Melvin Gordon when they played Wisconsin, they really held him in check. What did their run defense do in particular against him?
Well, no, it's just being in position, having your fits, not allowing any seams to run, and their style defensively, they kind of have the NDSU Tampa 2 mentality. There's a strong connection between their defense and NDSU's defense, and that's how they pattern their
After the game,
play.
sorry. After the game, you were talking about how you want to be more of a first half team than a second half. Have you figured out how you plan on doing that?
I want to be a 4-quarter team. I mean, that's one of those where, the game will take its course. You have absolutely zero control on the course of the game, and whether or not you come out to a fast start or you go off to a slow start, I mean, the game will dictate that now. A couple of our games, we scored 21 points in the first quarter, so you can't say we're a slow starting team. So it's just that consistency that you have to have, where you just don't stub your toe and not give yourself a chance of success. And that's what happened against Purdue, against a good football team. You do that against a good football team, you're not going to be successful.
Trenton Norvell was one of the few freshmen to start last year. How have you seen his game progress, the quarterback?
He's really developed well. The type of throws he's making right now are extremely confident. He's making throws across the field when people are grabbing on him, and he has the arm strength to get the ball across the field. His receivers are very confident. So right now, his numbers are going to be pretty impressive in the league because he does have that type of talent.
What do you see big picture looking at the Valley as a whole this year?
It's good. I mean, it's going to be a wild week in, week out, I think, type schedule. You look out, the University of South Dakota has advanced their program, almost taken down Montana, had Montana. That speaks volumes there. You look at what Missouri State did this past weekend. They're definitely a contender. You look what Indiana State did against Ball State. They're a contender. So I think you're looking probably at the first time ever. I mean, you're looking at every single member of the Missouri Valley Football Conference is playing some pretty darn good football right now and has a chance to make some noise. So it's going to be a battle.
The league is, I think, combined 20-1 against FCS opponents, but if it's really that good, how has North Dakota State won 28 straight games? Are they just an anomaly? And you look at everybody else?
Have you seen them play, Todd?
Yes, I have.
They're pretty good.
But if the league is that good, how have they won that many games in a row?
I don't understand the nature of your question. The rest of the guys just haven't been good enough to knock them off. I mean, they have raised the level of play in the Missouri Valley Football Conference because their level is at a point where it's going to bring everyone else up with them. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing. My history with North Dakota State, I was in the league with them previously when they were Division II. They went on a national championship run there also, and every team in the league got better because of that. It just forces you to play your game at such a high level and recruit at such a high level that everyone becomes better. So they raise the bar, and everyone else needs to catch up with them, and nobody's been able to catch up yet.
So, are you saying they've raised the level by recruiting better than the rest of the valley, or is there some other factors involved in raising the level of play for North Dakota State?
If it was just a simple explanation, you know what, everyone would be at the same level. So, now they were fortunate. I think, I have my own opinion about why they were able to get to the point where they're at. Some of it was recruiting. You had a coach in that area that was the D1 coach that didn't believe in recruiting local talent and thought talent in Texas and Florida was better, so therefore he didn't recruit Minnesota kids. And North Dakota State benefited immensely from that term. So I think that helped them get some guys that should have been playing Big Ten football, ended up at NDSU. SIU just because other schools weren't going into Minnesota to recruit.
You know, does the approach or the mindset, does it change at all heading into conference play, or is it just the same thing you guys have been doing every week?
Well, you're in a routine now, so once you get routine, you don't want to all of a sudden have a completely different emphasis, but everyone's aware of the fact that this here determines who the conference champion is. This can determine who goes to the playoffs, so every game is significant. There's just not an off week that you get.
Coach, getting back to Western, J.C. Baker had a nice game against you last year. Are they using him differently or different ways this year?
No, it's, again, the familiarity that we have with Western Illinois. Two of my former coaches are there with them. Ted Schlafke is their offensive coordinator, and Ted does a great job with that offense, and they're utilizing him in a very effective manner, and they're utilizing the talent very well. And then Steve Crutchley is the assistant head coach there. So they're going to be well coached. Bob Nielsen, I've known him for a long time, and quality coach, and they just do things the right way.
Are they the best receivers group-wise that you've seen this year?
Again, you're putting a statement on. We've seen some pretty good receivers, so we'll have to make that judgment after the game is done. So it's just too early to make any statements. They're using 6 to 7 receivers very well in their offensive schemes.
Do you like the way your conference schedule sets up, being home the first 2 weeks and then going on the road?
Yeah, I guess it's you just want to get that first game. I mean, that's the thing there, that everything kind of centers around. Then you worry about the next game after that. If I would have been back in the summer looking at it, I think, okay, it's an okay schedule. But right now, it's just that next game mentality, and don't think of it much more than that.
Agnew has been named one of the best running backs in the nation. How do you feel that he's improved since last year?
Who's it, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Well, Malcolm he's a hard worker. He's developed his game. I think now you see that he has that burst that might have been missing last year, and plus he's tough to bring down. I think his overall strength has improved. His performance in the weight room has indicated that. His durability, that'll be a key thing here down the stretch, is maintaining that durability. He's taken some big hits, and he's still running, so that's encouraging.
And this is Ionati's first season with SIU. How do you feel that this season has gone for him?
Well, he's a work in progress. He's had flashes of excellence, and he's also had some flashes of trying to force some things that he probably shouldn't have tried to force. But that's the growing process. I like what I see. I like his competitiveness. I like the fact that he can do some things for us in the pocket that we will need him to do to be successful. So, but we do need to have him getting better every week that he plays. Otherwise, we'll hit a plateau, and plateaus aren't good.
Has the blackout cancer game, has it grown into even more than maybe you and Mike originally expected when you guys decided to do this on year one?
Well, when we first came to terms with doing the blackout cancer game, for the longest time we thought it was going to be shot down immediately. We just didn't think that the NCAA would allow us to do it, and we kept pursuing it. Then when we got the okay, we thought it was going to be a one-time shot, and fortunately they allowed us to do it again, and I think now you're seeing other programs across the country that are looking at doing similar type of fundraisings, and it's for a great cause. So it's just there's no reason not to continue it, and I hope that we can continue to build on it. And it's a great way for the players to get a connection with the fan base and the families that have purchased the jerseys. I have a friend of mine that is going through cancer. One year he purchased 3 jerseys, and it's just something that was special to him, and he kept one jersey, 34, which was DeMonch's jersey, and then he gave the other 2 to his kids. But those are are special memories that are occurring within families that are going through some tough times or have gone through some tough times. So, you know, you just hope that there's something good that they can take from it.
What are some of the goals that you've had the defense establish this year that are different from last year?
The goals?
Or just things that you're trying to work on that are different from last year?
Well, we're trying to keep the score down. You know, it's defense is just in football, especially today's game. College offenses are so sophisticated. You can't shut down an offense. It's almost impossible. You got to find ways to slow it down. You got to find ways to make them make mistakes. You got to find ways to take advantage of you know, the opportunities they give you, and so it's definitely a chess game where just because a game plan worked one week doesn't mean it's going to work the next week. You got to be ready to adapt and adjust, and you know, what you're really trying to do offensively is just keep points off the board. That is the main role of the defense, and just got to find ways to limit scores.
And staying on the topic of defense, are there any defensive players that you've seen a lot of improvement since last year?
Well, we got everyone, majority of guys are back, you know, so I'm happy with the development of pretty much the entire group. You know, it's tough to, right now, we're only 4 games in, and you know, there's still a lot of football to be played, so, you know, I'm not going to single anyone out. I think our leaders are doing well. I think there's still a big room for improvement. We need to get better defensively in some of the things that we're doing, so hopefully we continue to see that improvement.
When you develop a game plan and run the scout team, et cetera, what percentage of this might be hard to answer? What percentage of the plays that you see on game day are a surprise? In other words, are those surprises the things you work on to change at halftime? Their game plan would be a certain thing if you look at the film, and then do they add a lot of stuff or do they add a small amount?
Yeah, every offense, they're going to show you 3, maybe 4 new formations in each game, and they keep track of that. That's one thing you do as an offensive coach. You're aware of everything that you've shown up to this point in time, and then you just do little tweaks here and there with formations, how you run a play, maybe a design against a certain defense, whether it's a 3-4 or 4-3. And so the first half, a lot of times that's what you're adapting to, is getting ready, you know, and you recognize it right away. Okay, we haven't seen that. Make sure that we cover that with the guys on the sideline when they come on the sideline. Hey, we need to talk about this when we get to the locker room at halftime. You know, so that's just college football, and every offense will do that, where they throw a few new things at you, a few new twists, and it's just trying to catch the defense off guard. Offenses are trying to get easy scores, and that's the challenge of you know, coaching defense, is that you can't give up easy scores. So that's just the game.
Any injury updates?
I think we came through the Purdue game pretty healthy. I'm hoping now that we really start getting back to full strength. Ethan Worth, I think, is feeling very good. You know, one guy that will be getting back now is Leonard Gehring. You know, so we're excited about having him back within the defensive schemes. And you know, Ken Malcolm, we'll start pushing him a lot more as far as what he's doing in practices. So, you know, I think we're at a point where we're pretty healthy.
Dale, you've had some bad luck with quarterbacks the last couple of years. Have you prepared Ryan West or Matt Vincent or Sam differently this year than you have in the years past?
Well, they came in all competing for the starting spot, so you know, they needed to be at a high level to even be in consideration. And I think you look at Ryan West; he knows what starting football games all about. He knows what's going to start to finish on a game. So you know, I think he's prepared to take over in a second's notice. And you know, now Matt Vincent had the injury, so he's kind of coming back and getting his game back to where it should have been, you know, at the beginning of fall camp. But you know, he'll be available too here soon to
Is Sam your emergency quarterback at this point?
He has been, but we're slowly taking him out of that role as long as Matt Vincent's making progress.
Anything else?
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Coach.
Thanks.